What if you scribbled an idea on a napkin and it became a limitless scale tech company poised for exit? What if you had a vision of eliminating an inefficiency in your community, industry, or the world, and you had a chance to co-found a company and bring this product or service to the market? What if we could positively impact every social issue with tech? 10x Tech Tank is the #1 daily show for everything tech entrepreneurship. And whether you are technical or not, you will learn, be inspired, and witness transformation in the making. People will share tech ideas on napkins. People will showcase minimum viable tech products. People will explain their cash-flowing tech companies looking for acceleration. And if the person is right, and their idea is right, and the market is right, and the business model is right, then there's a great chance you will witness some serious magic. We are on a mission to build, scale, and sell 10,000 tech companies in 10 years. And we invite you to make history with us. Together, we achieve more.
Welcome to 10x Tech Tank. Jared Yellin here.
Eric Nowoslawski.
And we are here to support entrepreneurs. We talk all the time about how cool it is what we do. I mean, literally people from around the world are pitching us their dreams. And those dreams sometimes are written on a piece of paper like this. Other times they put some money into it a little bit, and they have what we call a minimum viable product. And other times they're cash flowing tech companies, but they haven't turned into their dream yet. They're just stuck. And when they're pitching here, what they're hoping for is what we call co-foundership. That we're going to say, yes, let's go through the process and let's see if you're right for us and we're right for you. But as you're watching, we need your support. Let us know the ideas you love and politely let us know the ideas that you don't love as much, because we do make decisions up here. We're going to say yes or no to due diligence, but maybe you could influence us. So with that, who is our first entrepreneur tonight? So who is our first entrepreneur tonight? What is your name and where are you calling in from?
So my name is Tim Borthwick. I'm here with my partner, Raphael, and we're calling from Boston, Mass.
Awesome. Excellent. Here we go. 3 minutes. Share your big tech idea. Great hat, too.
All right. So we're going to share the screen real quick. Give us 1 second. All right, guys. So our product here is called ProGetter. We're a on-demand service platform for home service providers, providing anything from moving help to handyman services to furniture assembly. We've launched in just the past week, and I'm going to dive into a little bit more of what we do and how we go about providing these services. So just a little market overview here, what the market has to tell us. So this is a $435 billion market as of right now, and we're estimated to grow to 1.13 trillion in 2026 with a 49% growth rate. So people, when they go online, they're searching for this type of service. You know, they're turning and burning. They're looking to schedule someone right away because the demand's so high and the inventory is just so low on who can provide these services. So 78% of these service providers, you know, of these customers are going online and they're booking within the 24-hour span. It's a super fragmented industry as well. So only like our biggest competitor is Angie and Home Advisor, and they only own 5% market share of the entire industry as well. So, and on top of that, the demand for these services have gone up 70% since pre-pandemic. So we're super busy. Just to touch on some of the issues that our customer are facing in the industry. So, like I said, high demand with very little supply right now. You know, we're as providers, we're just so busy, and we're looking for the top-notch providers to go in and be able to take on as much work as possible. And right now in the U.S. there's only 92,000 handyman services to account for as well. So what are customers looking for? They're looking for ease of booking. They want to go online. They want to find the service that they're looking for. They want to book right away, and they want to make it as simple and streamlined as possible. Upfront pricing right in their face. So that's what they're looking for. And then bear with me a second. So a lot of times too, with these big provider services that we're up against, they have a lot of turnover with their customers and providers due to unsatisfaction with their services, just not quality providers as well. They're taking on anybody, and we're looking for top-notch people to take on these jobs.
We got 30 seconds.
All right, so let me dive into I'll say that for another time, but so what are our troubles with the businesses? So that the providers that we partner with, they're struggling, they're looking for scale. So they come on, they don't have a lot of money for capital for marketing. So we're providing marketing services, but on top of that, we're looking to grow and streamline their process. You know, they become a pro on our platform, and we provide them marketing tools as they want to grow. So we're not only trying to use them as labor, but we're trying to offer them all the steps in place. So just to show you what I did. So my company before we started this was called Tim Services. I started on these platforms, and we branched off and expanded. You know, what did I need? I needed to build a website. I needed marketing. So that's the process that we went through to get to ProGetter. That's the process that we want to provide for these providers coming onto the platform. We want to capture the entire ecosystem of these providers. So when they leave TaskRabbit and Handy, they're going on to look for services to help them scale. We want to keep them on the platform. So when they outgrow the provider portion of us providing them the jobs, we want to provide them the marketing. So that's as fast and quick as I could do the presentation there.
Yeah, so you launched last week, you said, right, Tim?
What's that?
You said you launched this last week?
We launched ProGetter last week. Call Tim Services was started in 2020, and I scaled that from 0 to 100K in less than a year by myself.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with this new platform, when you launched it, what did that mean? Like, how do people find out about it? How does it not remain obscure? Like, what was the steps in the launch?
Yeah, so I'm basically trying to monetize my current customer base and transition them from booking with me, from giving me a call to booking on the platform. So we identified a booking tool to get us launched, and then we built out the entire website, and we're looking to move to it's fully functional mobile. It looks great, but we're looking to move to an app where customers can download, providers can download their provider app, and then boom, they're in business.
Okay, and what is the financial model for ProGetter?
In terms of
how we
make money? Yep. So when a customer comes to the site and they book, we're collecting that booking fee right away. We then obviously we pay the provider a share, but we also we want to monetize additional services when they want to scale. So let's say a provider's on with us for a year and they want to branch off and now they want to grow their business. Instead of them going looking for email marketing, automation tools, website, stay with us, stay with our platform. We'll provide you the courses, training, and material resources all right here in one ecosystem.
What's your team look like? What's your team look like, Tim?
So right now it's just myself and Raphael right here.
You guys, that's awesome.
What's your plan to fill in the double-sided marketplace? So you have the people who are providing the service, and then you have the people requesting the service. How are you getting both on at the same time?
Yeah, I'll let Raph fill you guys in on this portion here.
We're going to be using, modern traditional marketing like social media, Google, search, YouTube, but also what we want to do to differentiate is we want to begin starting partnerships with independent hardware stores, independent furniture retailers. For example, Ace Hardwares are independently owned. We're thinking about getting our signs, stickers everywhere you could possibly see in there, partnering up with assisted living complexes as well, because they always need an extra set of hands to help move or assemble some furniture, and partner up with online retailers for furniture too when it comes to furniture assembly, and partner up with like U-Haul is independently owned as well, so they could use some help with moving.
Is it just in Boston? Is this going to be in Boston to start? Are you going to model it in Boston and then expand?
We plan on modeling in Boston, in a little bit of New Hampshire, and then eventually expanding.
What is your most significant need right now? Is it team? Is it promotion? Is it capital? Is it all of the above, and why?
So can I just say real quickly? I think so. I think most importantly is capital to fund like marketing, especially, and then help just hire more people to get be able to bring our vision to life as well too.
And then just to touch on that too as well. So our demand side is high. The volume is coming in nonstop. It is the provider side of that. So a lot of our stuff is done in-house right now until we really start bringing on the provider volume that we'd like to. We'd like to scale within the next 3 to 6 months, bring on 180 providers, and that would bring us into like the 5 million range for our first year in revenue and gross revenue. So
Awesome. All right. So for everybody that's watching this, would you use ProGetter? So now it's up for the crowd to decide. So what are your thoughts, our audience? Would you use ProGetter when you have a need? There's something that you need a handyman to come to your home. Would you use ProGetter as a platform? Would that make your life easier? Eric, what are your thoughts on next steps?
So for next steps, so I'm interested in this because one, I like the two of you. Two, it's a growing marketplace. And three, the business directory websites that kind of exist right now, I think there's a lot of improvement that could be on them. What I want to do specifically in your due diligence period is I want to take a dive into what utilities exist on your platform that are different than what's on Angie's List and on TaskRabbit and those places that allow for the customer to be able to have a better experience as well as the service provider. So I'm a yes, and those are the things that I would be checking out as well as the marketplace for due diligence.
Yeah, because you really like, I'm a yes too, by the way. I like you both. And I think it's a really interesting idea in a growing market. And I'm really not handy, so I really need this platform. So from a selfish perspective, I need it. But we want to understand like what makes this 10x, as you have a cash flow hat on, so now you know what I mean by that. What makes this 10x better than anything else out there? Thank you for your pitch. We're excited to go deeper in the chat. Let us know what your thoughts are on these two fine gentlemen from Boston with ProGetter. So after this commercial break, we'll have another entrepreneur with us in the tank.
The insurance adjuster industry has not received much love in the space of innovation, ever. Professionals in this industry are faced with extremely arduous processes that make scaling difficult and quality of life poor. Claim Guru assists public adjusting businesses by providing powerful tools for managing every step of the claim process, from origination to settlement and beyond. In addition, Claim Guru will help professionals stay on top of their adjusting caseload, proactively guiding them through the process, which makes the customer experience significantly enhanced. Our client-centric approach helps to increase your company's capacity, providing you with the tools you need to grow and succeed. From lead management, contract execution, scheduling, claims filing, claims management, loss scoping, loss documentation, document creation and distribution, file transferring, claim activity documentation, task reminders and organization, form filling and filing, payment intake and distribution. The process is currently way too complex and time-consuming to allow for maximum profits. Until now, we invite you to take your public adjusting business to the next level by hiring a guru, the one and only Claim Guru.
All right, we're back in the tank. Big E, we did when we surveyed in our early episodes. I said, should we call you Big E or Little E? And I hate to break it to you, Little E did win.
When you ask the internet for anything,
I'll still call you Big E.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Subject for you. So,
yeah.
Who do we have in the tank with us? What is your name and where are you calling in from?
Hi, Jared. Hi, Eric. I'm Lauren Lukosius, and I'm calling in from Cary, North Carolina, right outside of Raleigh.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. You got 3 minutes. Share your big idea. Go for it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Are you able to see it?
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Just a little introduction on me. I'm Lauren Lukosius. I have a background in PR, marketing, and sales. More recently, I established my own LLC, and I have an e-com business. And I just have a passion for personal development and learning in life. The problem that I identified, it's no secret, but mental health in our society is really bad, especially right now. Just some statistics, the CDC has a stat that 19.4 million adults in the US have at least one major depressive episode a year. And I did my own survey when I've come up with this concept of about 40 anonymous individuals, and 54% when asked about personal development and the time that they have, 54% said that they don't have time to prioritize it. And it's well known that we are a product of our thoughts, and what we consume every day is kind of how we think. So with all the negative media and everything out there, it's important to try to fill our lives with things that kind of do a pattern interrupt on our negative thoughts. This brought me to my conceptual idea, which I'm calling Path Guru, guiding you to your best self. And the solution is we push positive, simple, actionable content to stimulate positive emotions in individuals to motivate and inspire them. And this is through an app that pushes positive quotes, daily growth tips, and influencer or thought leader interaction. This is just a wireframe, nothing super new as far as the overall look. I just kind of wanted to put together how it would flow with their information based on zip code to target them. They could pick their personal development type of activities that they're interested in. And then based on those selections, I think this is kind of a differentiator with this app. They could then see the influencers or thought leaders they can pick based on what their interests are. And then those thought leaders would be part of their push-up content. And it could be to a smart device. And these are just quick, actionable items. They're not anything that they would spend multiple minutes really doing. It's just think of like one thing you're grateful for right now. Here's a motivational or inspiring quote, pre-populated GIFs that you can interact and send to friends so we don't have bullying on the platform. Alerts based on their zip code for a local meetup, or the thought leader could actually put out some of their own content and tips to push to them. I have this broken up into kind of two phases. The first phase is the app. And this would just be basically that targeted messaging to individuals. We could then kind of add in some personalization with local events and everything. And I think there is an option for a wearable that you could design that could kind of add to the whole package for just sales and getting kind of VIP exclusives. Phase two, which I think is really an interesting concept and I'm excited about, because right now Snap has a consumer product, Spectacles, that's already out there. And I think this is growing, but AR glasses in the personal development space. And this would just basically be kind of more personalized for people that are looking for a very just easy guided steps throughout their day. I'm thinking kind of like blueprint from a thought leader that they're interested in seeing how they actually live their day and guiding them through, or even someone that may be suffering from anxiety or a panic type of disorder, that we could have therapists involved where it would kind of give them their protocol and walk them through their day kind of in real time. Here are some competitors that are currently in the market for apps listed there. They're all pretty good, but like based on what I've seen,
30
they all
seconds,
have,
you're doing a great job. 30 seconds.
thank you. Okay, so they all have a little bit more time commitment, and then there's also some big players that are in the wearables market as well. My target market, 15 to 65-year-olds, people that kind of follow a lot of these thought leaders, interested in a lot of personal development type of activities. And I just did a little bit of research to look at the market. This first number, 17 billion, is based on Grandview Research personal development market analysis. And they're estimating that for e-platforms, which is mobile apps and web platforms, that they're estimating that to be 17 billion in 2027. The AR glasses market, which I found from AR Insider's research arm, they're estimating AR glasses market to be 13.4 billion in 2024. And then I just took some numbers just for the US target market of individuals, 15 to 65. If they had a 1% adoption rate in the first year based on a price point of about $280, we'd be looking at around 6 million. So that is my concept. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. And I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, awesome presentation. So where do we get the content from? Like who is producing the content that's going to be dripping out to people based on their goals?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, we don't really have much of a differentiator or app compared to what's out there if we don't get some of those key thought leaders on board and involved first to be able to push their content out, because I think that's really what people would be interested in hearing. And also, I think just if we had some just content marketers and people that would be able to kind of pull some information from positive psychologists or psychotherapists and getting that information in a form where we could push that out on a regular schedule on a daily basis.
And then what would be the price point for somebody to be able to join the platform and receive the content?
Yeah, so I thought about that, and I know that if you're buying an app, sometimes the download rate is not as high as if it were a free download. So I was thinking of doing this as a free download, but then having revenue come in kind of as a commission based, either through local influencers who are doing kind of like referrals, commissions from people that are listed as like a health coach on there. And if the platform gets a sign up from that or a sign up to a therapist, there would be commission. And then as far as moving on to kind of that walk in the thought leader shoes with, if you go into the augmented reality piece, then that would be an extra in-app purchase for that. And then obviously you would have the wearable that you would be selling. So I think the initial app I was thinking of being a free download and then just having kind of extras within the app that you could purchase.
How long have you been thinking about this for? Like, why'd this show up for you in particular?
So my e-commerce site started as a blog that I started just based on what I had been reading in positive psychology and personal development. I'm just very interested in it. And it's really helped me in my life. And then I decided to turn that into e-com. And I started to think about how we could help more people and reach more people on a daily basis. Because so many people want to change and be influenced in a positive way, but they just don't have time. They don't have time to sit and read even 20 minutes of a book or watch a 20-minute video. So I've been thinking about that. This idea came to mind just within the last year with the pandemic. I just saw so many people being negatively affected in my personal life. So I just wanted to try to come up with something that
solution. So one of the people you had on your list years ago, I was having breakfast with him, and I said, you need a daily video drop. He's like, a daily video drop? I'm like, yeah, every day. Like, people need to sign up, and every day they get 60 to 120 seconds from you. And he ended up doing it, and it blew up his list. Like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are part of this daily video drop. So one of the things that's going to be important with this is that any of those thought leaders, in theory, could do this without you. Like, they could produce their own content. They could have their content available for daily download. But what you could do that potentially would make them even more interested in joining is if you were able to build this community of people that wanted content, because they know they can do it on their own. And sit in 30 seconds, how do you get people to use this platform so that they're not just going to go and create the content and do it on their own? They can control the list, control what they're selling, etc.
Yeah, I would position it as you don't have to have multiple signups or apps on your phone, and it would just be one source that you could follow all the people that you're interested in following. So it saves you a lot of space and a lot of different logins that you'd have to remember. And also, I think people are looking for that sense of community, like you said. And if you have all these little pieces everywhere and people that you're following, yeah, you have different communities, but I think the whole concept of this is to have it housed in one spot. And also part of that idea was in phase one to target people by their zip code. And there's so many local influencers, not, major well-known thought leaders, but there's so many local influencers that would be able to actually take that in real time. And we could host events in that zip code at local businesses and stuff and give them kind of like a platform to interact with audiences locally, kind of like a TED Talk kind of on the local level.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right, so everybody that's watching, what are your thoughts on PathGuru? Would you use this platform? Is this something that you would, obviously it's free initially, so you can log in, begin to benefit, you can choose your goals and have specific content released to you. Eric, what are your thoughts on next step?
I think I'm always interested in anything that spreads positivity through, any kind of ecosystem. I do agree with some of the things that you're saying before. Bringing on an influencer, their first question might say, I want to control that data. Why would I, go someplace else when I could do this on my own? However, I think there is something to be said about people building a community and having those people raise their hand and want to be a part of something that is always positive, especially if we start using augmented reality. I was just at a conference where people were really doing cutting edge stuff with augmented reality that no one else is really doing right now. So I would want to head into some more due diligence. Absolutely. One, because I think you presented it so well. I like you. I definitely think that you're passionate about this idea. And then two, spreading positivity in the world is something that we should always be looking to do.
Yeah. So you're awesome. I mean, when we talk about right person, like you are absolutely the right person. I'm a yes with an asterisk. This is not easy to accomplish this because we're going to need to get somebody that has a lot of ego, that wants to have a lot of control, to be willing and open to provide us with content. Because like you said, if we're going to compare with a Mind Valley, who doesn't do this necessarily, but they do have a lot of those thought leaders, we need to get those thought leaders to embrace this platform. So I'm a yes, come prepared with a strategy on how we can make this a win for them, because that's really what we're going to look for. We obviously have lots of ideas, but we like to lean on our co-founders to come up with their own ideas as well, to see what we can co-create. But I'm a yes. I'm really curious to see what the audience thinks as well. Wonderful job. We'll see you after this commercial.
What if there was a way to guarantee farm fresh produce in the home of every family in your zip code? What if you and your family could launch a business out of your home, place of worship, or anywhere you desire? What if you could become part of the solution to current healthcare crisis that plagues our world? What if you could become your local farm bridge? We are on a mission to find one local health enthusiast in every zip code from around the world to launch a local farmers market. This business opportunity will take only a few hours a week and produce significant income for you and your family. Plus, it's a force for good as we unite and simplify the process of connecting local farmers with local families so that farm fresh produce exists within every home in your community. We are on a mission to revitalize our soil, help the farmers who work tirelessly to provide high nutrient foods to our families, and strengthen the health of our nation that has been manipulated into consuming low nutrient, ultra processed foods. Together, we can grow the number of thriving, sustainable farms and increase human health and longevity through creating ease in access to high nutrient foods. Spots are limited and zip codes are being claimed quickly, so if you could see yourself as part of the solution, we invite you to join our movement.
All right, and we are back. Who is our next entrepreneur in the tank? What is your name and where are you calling in from?
John Brown from Chesapeake City, Maryland.
Awesome, John. All right, give us your pitch in 3 minutes. Go for it.
So I came up with an idea to walk homeowners through their DIY projects. So DIY became a $290 million industry in 2020. And DIY homeowners are doing these projects themselves because either they are trying to save money or there's a lack of help out there in the industry. So my idea was to either walk a homeowner through their project or with a licensed professional, such as, you have a bad outlet, you would reach out to us and we would line you up with an electrician. An electrician would walk you through how to fix that problem through a FaceTime or a phone call. Or you could opt to have them come and fix the problem if it was larger than something you could handle yourself. And so we looked at it from several different angles. We've actually tested it on a few things. So we actually did it with not just homes, but we did it with an automotive repair. So we went in and did a tire rod change with a homeowner over FaceTime, and the savings was around 50% of what it would have cost to do the job through the mechanic. We've done it with an HVAC company, using them to, someone purchases a thermostat and the thermostat needs to be programmed to your specific furnace, right? That cost would have been $165 for a service call, but it was only $29.99 to do it through the phone call through the company. So, you're still looking at over 65% savings there.
Awesome. So is any of this built now or is it more conceptual?
So we've only done it through FaceTime. I'm not a app or tech person, so I don't necessarily know how to do any of that. I know how to do the trades and things like that, but I don't know the tech part.
Cool. So when you did it through FaceTime, which is great, that you should absolutely, for everybody watching this, like you should be testing stuff like this, like non-technical ways to eventually build limitless scale tech solutions. Did the homeowner that you were supporting, did they have all the equipment they needed, like from the start, or did you do a call and say you need to go get this? They went to get it and they called you back. What was the process?
So that's what we did. Is we did a call. We walked them through what they needed. So we needed an outlet change, or these are the parts that you need, and then you schedule a time with that mechanic or with that person to walk you through those things. So it's like a two-step process almost, and then you're able to schedule it with a licensed professional.
Got it. And then were you the one that they did it with, like, because you know how to?
So I did. I actually did the electrical one, but we actually used the mechanic up the road for the car, and we used our local HVAC company for the thermostat.
Do they like it? Like, do they, because they're making less money, they can obviously support more people. Like, do they like doing it this way, or were they like?
So it frees them up. There's a lot of older people that can't do these jobs anymore, but have all the knowledge, right? So they're able to either create jobs for those people, or, you know, instead of the drive time, the amount of time you're going to put into your drive, you're able to execute it in a phone call. So, you know, you're saving money and cost there.
So, so how did it's awesome, the savings, like, how did the $29, like, how was that the fee? Is it just like,
it's just
an hour for 29 minutes? Like, how did that work?
It's just a number that we came up with, that, you know, the average person that works in this industry makes $30 an hour. So, you know, if you're a skilled tradesman, you make around $30 an hour is your average rate. So we just chose that as what it would be. I mean, I looked at other things like adding in, we did one, it was smaller, but it was over the phone with an architect for load bearing walls. So they were able to tell you what size beams to put inside of your house so that you don't have a wall crash down on you, and walk you through the process of building a temporary wall in front of it and then pulling that wall out. So things like that. So, I mean, and those were just phone calls, you know.
Do you envision like, so a first call, somebody's gonna like do a FaceTime, show the problem that or the DIY thing that they're looking to accomplish. Do you envision the expert putting the equipment or material into like an online shopping cart, and then the person just buying it, or telling them, go to Home Depot, get this, and call me back once you get it? Like, what's
So,
your, like your
I think it would be easier that way to do an online cart. So create it where you know, we have the right things in there. So, you know, whether you need electrical tester and which one's the best one, or, you know, allow them to choose their options of what level they want to purchase. But you want to make sure that you're not wasting their time or your time. So a cart would be phenomenal for whether you partnered with Home Depot or Lowe's for those ideas.
Yeah, and then what is the revenue model for this platform? Are people paying to even be listed on there? Are we taking a little bit of the transaction? What are you thinking?
So my goal was to bring contractors on for free, right? Angie's List charges contractors for leads, where we would actually be charging the homeowners to come and get a consultation for us. So if we had the contractors for free, if the project was too large for you to be there, you could actually just schedule a consultation with that local contractor that could come out and do that work for you. So Home Depot sort of has a platform like this already, where the contractor is free. You go to Home Depot and they'll line you up with a contractor that will come to your house. They don't have the app or anything to do the work over the phone. So you can, as a contractor, you go to Home Depot and get free leads all day long.
Do you think there's any like liability concerns?
No,
that scares me a little bit. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
So, I mean, you're using licensed professionals, so it would be no different than that licensed professional going through and doing the project themselves, right? I mean, obviously, there would probably need to be some type of waiver that you're doing the work yourself, but DIY, people were already doing the work themselves, right? So, you know, to have a liability waiver that you sign when you log into your FaceTime, that we're not responsible if you get electrocuted or shocked, or, you know, those are, you know, we're going to
sure. So I think what makes this really interesting is because it's a two-sided marketplace, right? So we need to get a lot of professionals on here and a lot of people that want to do these DIY projects. But when somebody wants to do a DIY project, they don't need someone local to help them. They can be anywhere to support them. And it just sets off like a ping, and any professional that takes it that's qualified is able to then provide support. I think that's a value proposition for these professionals immensely, that they can now not just service the 5 miles around where they can drive to. All right, audience, what are your thoughts on this platform? Would you use this for your DIY projects? Eric, what are your thoughts?
So I would definitely use this. While my girlfriend was away on vacation, I had to build this desk from IKEA. I know that's like adult Legos, but on steroids. It's
No, it's
crazy.
not. It's impossible.
And so the I couldn't put it together, because what you had to do was you actually had to bend the metal to make it fit. When do you ever build something that you have to break it to make it work? So I was mind blown, but I wish I could have just called somebody, because it literally took me 4 hours to figure out I had to bend the metal to make that happen. And it could have saved me a ton of time. So I'm definitely a yes. I think that's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah, so I am Mr. not DIY.
Absolutely.
I'm Mr. Hire, come and do it. I'll pay whatever. But I do think there's a market for this, and I like you a lot. So I'm a yes to move forward and go deeper into this. I want you to really think deep into how are we going to scale both sides of the marketplace? Like, how do we get 1 million service professionals on here and millions of people that want to do these DIY projects? So think of that when you come into the next session with us. But John, thanks so much for the presentation. Great job. We'll be back with our next entrepreneur after this break.
What if you could increase profit and transparency on your farm for generations to come? What if you were able to save dozens of hours each month? What if you were able to reduce the time and stress spent on bookkeeping during harvest season? What if we had an answer to your prayers? The solution is called Field Pocket. Field Pocket is a software application to keep track of farmers' harvest data. From grain contracts to managing delivery tickets and settlement sheets to linking all the documents in organized reports. The app automates previously manual tasks on the farm to create a more efficient and reliable tracking system for farmers, allowing them to ditch their paper and pen approach and automate data analysis related to grain tracking and payments. But enough of the tech talk. Field Pocket will give you time to spend with your children. Field Pocket will eliminate the stress of running the business of the farm. Field Pocket will reap you benefits that you never thought possible. Here at Field Pocket, we aim to increase your quality of life on the farm for generations to come. Simple as that. We invite you to join a Field Pocket family so that you have more time for your family.
All right, we're back. Who is going to join us for the final pitch of the night? Please, what is your name and where are you calling in from?
Well, my name is Mikhail Mushnik and I'm calling from New Jersey.
Awesome. Very nice to meet you. You got 3 minutes. Please share your big tech idea. Go for it.
So I developed an application called My Sami. And as you see, many years ago, one famous winemaker, Pierre Antinori, said that wine pairing is for everyone. It's not something for mystical elite. Taking this in consideration and frustration of 10 millions wine food lovers, I decided to develop application My Sami, which basically is sommelier for the rest of us. My Sami will find you right wine for your favorite meal at the right time, at the right place, accessible 365 24/7. I am an IT professional specializing in designing business intelligence and decision support system. So let me go to the next screen. And we'll go a little bit more about the application. Build. My Sami is the industrial grade software using sophisticated data-driven design, which allows to plug in My Sami into any wine food website. Basically, My Sami builds a digital bridge between consumer, food business, wine business, and affiliate markets. And when we create a new bridge, we basically create a new avenue for a new business. The major function of My Sami is to direct food recipe shoppers straight to the wine sellers. All right, now I'm going to the next page. Here's some explanation about ecosystem. My Sami business model based on a very successful business model used by Whisk, which is a recipe management application. Their motto is to turn any recipe into ingredients shopping. So if you look into Whisk ecosystem, you will see publishers, which are all recipe.com, foodnetwork.com, supermarkets, and Whisk directs recipe shoppings into the merchants for the ingredients. And finally, consumers buy those ingredients and Whisk makes the money. My Sami uses similar business model, but the motto is turn any recipe food shopping into wine shopping. And you see in my ecosystem, I have publishers much more extended with supermarkets, recipe websites, specialized food websites like Omaha Steak, restaurants, wine distribution, and many more. The merchants are online and brick and mortar wine sellers. And obviously, when the consumer buys the wine, this is where we're getting our commission.
You got 30 seconds. You're doing a great job. 30 seconds.
All right, let me present really how it looks. Let me click on it. This is the pop-up window. When you click on it, it shows you selection of different types of food. For example, we decided to select beef. It shows all different types of beefs. If we decided to look into beef barbecue, it shows you the best pairing for varietals, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Malbec, let's say you decide to click on a Cabernet Sauvignon, at this moment, it transfers control to the participating.
All right, I got questions for you. So,
Yes.
awesome. First off, awesome job. How old are you?
I'm not young, that's pretty chicken,
I
right?
love it. No, you proved my point though. It's never too early, never too late to be a tech entrepreneur. So I love it. So just great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm over 70.
Awesome. Very impressive. So, is this built already? Is
Yes.
it built or is it an idea? It's
Yes,
built.
it's built.
Okay, cool. And how many people are using this currently?
Not too many, because this is the reason why I came to you. I
Okay.
built, I checked, I'm working with some wine store, they love it because they love it when people come, they scan and it just shows the wine, pairing wine in the stores.
I love it.
It's
No,
one
that's
of
really,
the applications.
so what does it take to get the database of wine into this platform? Or is that already in there? And if
It's
so, how
already
many,
in. It's already in, everything is in.
how many,
All the wines, varietals, food, everything is linked. This is what data-driven design, everything is in.
like thousands of records, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands? Like how many records?
Of what? Because it's a complicated database.
Of
We
the
have
wine.
Of the
database-
wine, of the
Well,
wine.
the wines, that's the critical point. The wines are transferred to the seller. So I'm linking to the seller, and whatever wines they have, they're just using. I'm not touching their inventory.
Oh, got it.
So
Oh,
it's a plugin. Let's say
got
I
it.
plugged into wine.com, it shows the wines from wine.com. If I go to Drizzly, it shows wines from Drizzly.
Very cool. All right, so what's the financial model? Are you getting paid from the wine stores or?
The
tell me that-
financial model, no, the financial model is basically affiliate marketing. So, for example, wine.com participates in affiliate marketing. And if somebody buys from wine, they usually pay around like 5% of the buy. The average buy around, I would say $100. So if you have $100, 5%, it's $5 per buy. But the critical point where the software located, let's say it's allrecipe.com. This is where the people come for the recipe. And when they look at the recipe, the window pops up or chatbot. It says, would you like to have a pairing wine for your chicken? And if he says yes, then it goes to the wine.com where they choose the wine. At this point, all recipe have 44 million monthly visitors. So if we're talking about only 3% or 1%, it's still
Yeah.
numbers. That's
So you're in New Jersey, so I'm assuming you know of Wine Library in New Jersey.
right. And I can show you a presentation link to the wine library, right?
Awesome. So how would you convince Gary Vaynerchuk to integrate this into Wine Library? What would you say to him in 30 seconds?
Well, I would say to him, Gary, if you will integrate, you will get from, it's not his integration. There's no integration for him. The point is he already participates in affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
So I need to convince All Recipe in this example, allrecipe.com to incorporate my summit. When people come to All Recipe, when they click, then it goes to Gary Vaynerchuk. So basically he has to influence allrecipe.com, all others recipe sites.
Very interesting. What questions you have?
That's, yeah.
So what's the revenue model? Are the
Affiliate
wine
marketing.
yeah,
Yeah.
affiliate marketing? So the wines are
That's what I thought too. So when somebody buys the bottle of wine, are you getting a percentage of the purchase of the wine? Is that the model?
Yes, yes, that's the idea, right? Because Gary Vaynerchuk, he already exists. He already have affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
So my point is just to
Some
drive
market.
traffic to him.
so this is a utility combined with a marketplace. The utility is telling you what the pairing is, and then once you know your pairing, you go out and you buy the wine.
That's right. When you see, okay, I select, let's say Cabernet Sauvignon. When you click on Cabernet Sauvignon, it transfers control directly to Gary. It shows all his Cabernet Sauvignon wines.
Very, very interesting. How long has this existed for?
When you say existing, when it was.
Like you built this already. So when did you start writing the code for this? How
Well,
long?
I didn't write the code. I used offshore programmers. I designed
Yeah.
completely. I designed database. I designed all the functionality, screens, UI, UX. This is what my job was. It took me approximately, well, it's not full-time job, so it took me approximately 2 years to do it.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
And
Okay.
also in restaurant, for example, if you're in a restaurant, you can scan and it will show you for your food what wine from restaurant pairing with the food.
Really interesting. All right, for everybody watching, what are your thoughts on this platform? Would you like to incorporate this into your meals when you're going to restaurants? Would you use a platform like this? Eric, what are your thoughts on next steps?
So I think I want to head into due diligence. I'm a little handicapped here. I've never had alcohol in my life. So I know nothing about this space. I think people would find this to be interesting. I think the business model is really interesting. Anything that kind of has like you only make money when your business opportunity makes money. I'm always interested in those kinds of things. People come to the platform, wines will be on the platform because it's a no-lose situation. So I'm interested in that. I would lean on the comments. I think people.
I'm extremely interested.
Okay, cool.
This is a great idea. Really, I'm a hell's yes. Like, awesome job. Like, totally great. We're both from Jersey too, so maybe we'll have a Jersey co-founder there too. But amazing, both of you. Thank you so much. Hope that you in the chat are agreeing with us. This is a fantastic idea. So there you got it. There you have it. Another episode of 10X Tech Tank. Which of the pitches tonight did you enjoy the most? Please share in the chat. We won't pick favorites because we had some really great entrepreneurs on here. But listen, I'm just proud of people that show up. Even if we say no to due diligence, the fact that they showed up in front of thousands of people to share their dream. Many of these people are coming with like the ingredients of a napkin. It's not even a napkin yet. It's so conceptual, but they think to themselves, how is my life going to change if I just keep this concept in my mind?
Exactly.
Whereas if they present it, their life can radically change. We have over 100 companies in our first year inside of our portfolio, 10X Incubator, over 100 companies. And every one of those founders' life transformed once they pitched. I want to invite you to do the same. As you're watching this show daily or sporadically, I can guarantee you, if you remove the limits of your thinking, there's an idea that lives inside of you right now. An idea that needs to come out. And it might be an idea that can radically transform other people's lives. How dare you keep that within? How dare you play small? We invite you to come to the tank. Head over to 10xtechtank.com and submit your idea. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. Our team will review it. And if we see potential, we're going to invite you to the tank. In addition, make sure you head over to 10xtechtank.com and get on our list. Get on our list so we can notify you every day when we go live, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will notify you when we go live, and we'll give you a pretty darn cool gift. It is called the Perfect Pitch Kit. The Perfect Pitch Kit is a 60-minute video with a manual and a template deck. You can use this to pitch us or pitch anyone. It's a resource we want to arm you with so that when you're showing up to pitch, you're showing up with certainty. So with that, thank you for being here. Thank you to all of our entrepreneurs for having the courage to pitch. We can't wait to see you in the tank. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Which napkin will become the next exit? Which MVP will evolve into a unicorn? Which cash-flowing tech company will reach the next level? Our hope and desire is that it's yours. Your idea, your MVP, your cash-flowing tech company. Now is your time. Head over to 10xincubator.com and submit your idea so that you get on the tank and give us the chance to transform your napkin into an exit. That's 10xincubator.com. That's 10xincubator.com. Let's go.